The connection between fermented foods and immune function is grounded in solid science. Approximately 70% of immune tissue does surround the gut, making the gut microbiome directly influential on immunity. This isn't alternative medicine, it's mainstream immunology. Probiotics from fermented foods enhance immune cell activity, reduce inflammation, improve antibody responses to vaccines, and create antimicrobial compounds. Research showing regular fermented food consumption reduces respiratory infection frequency and severity is compelling. The recommendation to consume fermented foods daily with variety to introduce diverse bacterial strains makes sense because different fermented foods contain different microorganisms. Unsweetened yogurt or kefir with live active cultures, naturally fermented sauerkraut or kimchi, not vinegar-based versions which aren't actually fermented, miso, and tempeh all provide different probiotic profiles. The advice to start gradually if unaccustomed to fermented foods is genuinely important. People whose digestive systems aren't used to these foods can experience gas, bloating, or digestive discomfort when introducing them too quickly. This is often a temporary adjustment period, but it can be uncomfortable enough to make people abandon fermented foods entirely if they don't start slowly. The emphasis on combining fermented foods with prebiotic-rich foods, fiber from vegetables, whole grains, legumes, to feed beneficial bacteria is excellent nutritional advice. Probiotics need prebiotics to thrive. They work synergistically. This concept of feeding your gut bacteria, not just introducing new ones, represents a more sophisticated understanding of gut health. The warning to avoid pasteurized fermented products because heat kills probiotics is crucial information that many consumers don't know. Many commercial sauerkraut and kimchi products in the shelf-stable sections of stores are pasteurized and therefore contain no live probiotics. Refrigerated, naturally fermented products with live cultures are what you need. The specific example of Greek yogurt with live cultures topped with berries and nuts providing probiotics, prebiotics, vitamin C, and zinc is a practical illustration of nutrient synergy. The note that kefir has more bacterial diversity than yogurt is accurate. Kefir typically contains more strains and also includes beneficial yeasts that yogurt doesn't have. The advice that miso should be added at the end of cooking to preserve probiotics is the kind of specific, actionable information that makes these recommendations actually useful for implementation. However, we need some important qualifications. The probiotic content of fermented foods varies dramatically based on preparation methods, age, and storage conditions. Homemade fermented vegetables might have vastly different probiotic populations than commercial products. Additionally, most probiotic bacteria from foods don't permanently colonize the gut. They're transient, meaning consistent consumption is necessary for continued benefits. For people with compromised immune systems, some fermented foods, particularly unpasteurized varieties, may pose infection risks. This is a small subset of the population, but it's an important consideration not mentioned in the basic recommendations. The research on probiotics and immune function, while promising, also shows significant variability. Not all probiotic strains provide the same benefits, and individual responses vary considerably. Some people may experience dramatic benefits from fermented foods, while others notice little difference. There's also the practical challenge of taste. Fermented foods have strong, distinctive flavors that not everyone enjoys. Kimchi, in particular, is quite spicy and pungent. The recommendation to rotate types throughout the week is good for nutrient diversity, but may be challenging for people who struggle with these flavors. One aspect not addressed is sodium content. Many fermented vegetables are quite high in salt, which could be a concern for people monitoring sodium intake for blood pressure or other health reasons. Lower sodium versions exist, but may have different fermentation profiles. The emphasis on diversity of fermented foods is well-founded. Different foods provide different benefits, and a varied approach is more likely to support a diverse, healthy gut microbiome than relying on a single fermented food.